So Hogan, I want to be supremely serious with you about this topic. I read all the time, President Trump did this on purpose, provoked this confrontation because of Elon Musk and reconciliation. I hear all the time the president is relishing this conflict. Is either of those true as far as you know, or are you, as far as you are concerned?
No. And this stuff happened when I was in the administration the first time around. He didn't relish in any of it. What he wanted was an end to it. Because as you've seen, not just domestically, but internationally, he wants to be seen as the peacemaker. But at the same time, he ran on and won on twice for president of the United States, law and order. And a lot of these people in a lot of these states are seeing it devolve into this violent hellscape, and they want someone to come in and try and settle things. And
okay, so let me stop you. Let's say you and I went in the Oval Office together. We brought Professor Pape with us.
Sure.
And you're standing next to me, and before we go in, I say, Hogan, I want you to back me up here. Like if I say something and the president's wavering, I want you to back me up. All right. So we're talking to imaginary Donald Trump. Mr. President, I get that you think Gavin Newsom and Mayor what's her name, Bass. Are incompetent, and I get your outrage at the attack on ICE officers, but calling him Newsom, calling out the guard without coordinating with him, this is inflaming the situation. So, Mr. President, why don't you call Governor Newsom and say, look, let's start things over. Let's coordinate on the response. Let's restore order to Southern California together, and then let's work through the normal process, how these deportations are going to go. What would you say, Hogan, if the president looked at me like I was nuts?
Well, first of all, you wouldn't be in the Oval Office because your security clearances would prevent that from happening. You're too far of a security threat.
I'm one of three reporters. I'm one of three reporters with walk-in privileges.
Yes, sure. I know. We know who they are, actually.
Yeah.
I think a large portion of what you said is correct. And I think Donald Trump is good at having this. I mean,
but he's got to stop calling him Newsom.
Okay, that's your big complaint.
No, it's not my big complaint, but it doesn't contribute to a comedy, to a chord, which the professor, I believe, is absolutely right in saying, like, stop calling him names, stop failing to coordinate.
Literally said he was a nice guy.
But he's inflaming the situation. If he wants to be president of all the people, and he wants to carry out these deportations, which he said he would do, why doesn't he de-escalate it?
Okay, but let me answer your question with a question. Why don't Bass and Newsom say, thanks? We couldn't get a handle on our city. We've let it burn to the ground.
100%.
We've let millions of people come in and drain resources.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And they should say, and we should have denounced the violence, attacks on federal law enforcement. Well, I agree with you. But my hypothetical, we were only visiting the Oval. Then we get in the time machine, and we go 3,000 miles away. Now we'll address the governor and the mayor. But if the professor is right, and I think anyone with half a brain, and he's got more than that, would agree, this should be de-escalated. There's a tinderbox. And
yes, but Newsom is not the escalation. Calling him Newsom is not the escalation.
Doesn't help. It doesn't help.
No one.
It's disrespectful. Yeah, go ahead,
for
Professor.
what it's worth, as somebody who's never personally met Donald Trump, but has watched just about every one of his rallies here, and I've been to his rallies, Hogan. I'm one of these professors actually likes to go to the field and see what it's like. I've been to Harris rallies as well. I think Donald Trump is one of the most brilliant communicators we have on the planet. And I think that is really quite something. And I believe that if he were to see a reason to adjust, he could adjust on a dime and do it far better than any of us could even imagine.
Yeah, but
I think the bigger thing here is explaining, I would argue, to Donald Trump, number one, what is the real risk here that he's facing and the country is facing? And the problem, as I said again, is you won't need much with the way these groups are now intermingled. You only need a small number, even one bad actor that wants to kill 20, 30 people here that can then start off a melee where you're going to have the actual police or National Guard shooting at people. Yep. This is not a situation which then is going to necessarily work to anybody's advantage. This is way way too dangerous. And I think number two, the time, manner, place issue, which is that he can, I think, as president of the United States, say, I've been elected to do these deportations. Yes, we're a democracy where protest is allowed, but there needs to be time, manner, place. And if Donald Trump would put that on a post, I believe a lot of people could get behind that, possibly even some Democrats. And I'll say one more thing. I was arguing about the problems of the Iraq War, which Trump agrees with, back in 2002. And there was one Democrat who was really arguing that. And you know who that was? This little state senator? His name was Barack Obama. And I argued then in the fall of 2002, that's the position that could become president. I never met the guy. But I'm telling you that this is what's really possible for the Democrats. The Democrat who stands up for law and order in this situation may end up having far more support than he or she may recognize.
And if you say it right, you'll have no problem with the base. Hogan, I'm going to say one more thing, then we're going to go to your question. So please raise your hand if you want in on the conversation. Newsom and the president have talked in the last couple of days on the phone. And we know the president does, as he said publicly, he does have a certain variety of respect for Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom speaks his language. Donald Trump likes savvy politicians. He likes people who get the joke. And the detractors on his platform who don't understand Gavin Newsom, just like the detractors don't understand Donald Trump, Gavin Newsom is a very smart, very savvy guy. So they have some comedy and some connection. And I think what makes me cynical about it, and I'm the least cynical person you know, is it does feed the perception, at least to me, that this is all for show, because they're talking on the phone. Don't hang up the phone till you solve it. Have time, place, circumstance. Have the coordination of the National Guard. Have a plan to protect the ICE officials, and have a conversation about how are these deportations going to go. Democratic officials, the mayor, members of Congress from Southern California, they say, stop deporting people. Well, he's not going to. He won because he said he's going to deport people. He's not going to deport all 20 million. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. But he is gonna deport more people. So let's have that conversation, because the position of the Democrats seem to be, if you go to a Target or a Home Depot or whatever it is, and you find some bad hombres, and in that raid, you get some, or not raid, in that roundup, you get some people who are here illegally but aren't violent criminals, they're going to deport some of them. Let's have that conversation, because the president's not breaking the law. It may not be the public policy that some Democratic members of Congress would pursue, but have the conversation. Stop posturing in public and creating what the professor correctly points out is just a volatile situation that could lead up to a bad place. Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.